Welcome back to Larson Organizing. Today we're doing category number 4 in the Marie Kondo organizing process, which is Komono, which is a Japanese word for miscellaneous. So we're literally doing anything else than the 3 previous categories, which have been clothes, books, and paper. If you miss these categories, check out the videos from the last 3 weeks where we did them. And today we're doing Komono category. I love this category because finally we're touching everything in the apartment. We're touching every items which are in the kitchen, items which are in the bathroom, electrical items and stationary goods. So we're really doing a huge transformation process, which can be hard. It's a long, big category. So we're doing it step by step, subcategory item by subcategory item to tackle this one, where you then also have the visible shift in your apartment, because now we're literally touching everything in here. Before we start, I'm going to explain to you the 4 steps again, so I don't need to repeat them with every subcategory item that we're doing, so you just know it once. And that is, the first is, again, the reconnecting with the goal. What is your goal of the organizing? What goal do you have for your home, for your ideal life? What do you want to do? Do you want to declutter? Do you want to get things more organized? Do you want to get things more practical? Do you want to, what items do you want to move with you into your future, especially now when we're talking about Komono? Like, what hobbies do you want to keep in your ideal life? What hobbies maybe compete with other things that you want in your ideal life? So in the beginning, it's important to reconnect with the goal you're having. Maybe you wrote it down somewhere so you can read it, because now it's a long time ago since the first category, since you did this, to kind of remember what you want to achieve within your apartment. Then comes the second step, the getting everything out and on one pile. And you heard me before talking about bathroom or kitchen, but I'm going to remind you that with the Marie Kondo organizing process, we are not organizing room by room. We're still having the category by category approach. That means with the next or the first subcategory that we're doing now is the stationary items. So we're doing papers and pens and coloring pens and like everything which is stationary and probably close to your work desk area. We're not organizing your work desk area. We're organizing the category stationaries. That means we're getting the pens from all the apartment. So we're getting all the pens from the kitchen, from the dining room, from your workroom, wherever, all together and sorting through them. This helps you to understand and estimate the amount you own of them, because especially with pens, it's kind of overwhelming for most clients that how many actually of them you have. And also with getting everything out, you're going to reevaluate the way you're storing things. Because especially now with Komono, you are getting different things out of drawers and places and boxes where you store things in your home. And by getting everything out, you're going to also reevaluate, am I going to store my pens now in the kitchen? Do I need them there? Or do I just actually write things in the dining room area? So just like kind of to reevaluate them. And then we're going to joy check them. We're going to sort through if we want to keep them in our ideal life or not, if they spark joy to us. And step category number 4 is then we're sorting things back in. And but with detail, I'm going to say in each subcategory something. But these are the 4 steps which we're doing. And yeah, that means we're starting with the subcategory number 1, which is stationary goods. And also now we are going through a lot of subcategories. So these lists that I have here, you're also going to find on my website, so where you can download them. So you have all the you have the overview of the different subcategories that we're going to have, and it's going to make it way easier for you to do them. The way I go now through the subcategories is the way that I feel is from easiest to hardest. It's just my list, how I always go through them for myself, but also for clients. But you need to define what's your easiest to hardest order. With having that said, we're starting with stationary goods. So I'm going now through the apartment and get out everything which is papers, rubbers, erasers, pens, and cards and everything that kind of belongs to your work desk area. So also what you see is I'm getting everything out which belongs in the category stationery, like papers, pens and everything, scissors. I leave everything else in the drawers which doesn't belong in the category yet. So these are electronic stuff that we're doing next round or gloves or anything that doesn't belong in stationaries. We're just trying to focus on this one category because it's going to be enough one by one. Also, from what we have here is now all stationary goods. What you also notice, there is some paper in here. Why am I sorting out paper now? Paper was last week's category. Wasn't I not thorough enough? No, because kind of paper belongs into this category, which is empty usable paper. So sticky notes or here paper priority register stickers or some empty blocks where you can still write on, or here also empty postcards that you're like still gonna write or send to someone. So these are all belong in the category stationery. And what we're now doing, now we have everything out, is that we again sort them in their subcategories. So we're gonna now put all pencils together and put them on a pile. And we put all color markers together, and we put all pens together so that you actually can see how much you have of each single category. So that in the end, it's easier to see for you if I do it like this. That's hard. We have so much stationery we can't push it. But that you can actually see how much you have of each single category. Scissors, Sharpies, and here again pens, that it's again easier for you to sort through things when you know how much you actually have of them, and also can go with a better conscious to knowing I just need 3 pens and I'm gonna have 30, so I can donate 27 of them. And also you will probably stumble on through different categories, for example, of scissors. So we have kitchen scissors, which are for cutting food and kitchen stuff. We have actually a stationary scissor to cut paper and do craft work and whatever. And there are scissors which belong more in the bathroom category, your nail clipper scissors. Also sort them in their different categories. So I'm not sorting through all the scissors which are here right now because this belongs actually in the bathroom category. It was in the wrong box. This I put back to bathroom, and I'm gonna sort through them when I go through all the other nail accessoires when I'm coming closer to the bathroom category. All right, 2 things. While you're sorting through stuff and you stumble across tiny boxes where, for example, a paper or a pen came in, like this one, I took the pen out, and these boxes are fantastic to store stationery goods in the end. So through every box that you stumble across organizing stationery goods or any other Komono category, keep them. We're gonna need them in the end for storing stuff. And every box that you don't need in the end, when we sort through everything, even sentimental items, then you can throw them away. But till then, keep them because they come in really handy. And some things are round, which is okay, but best boxes are rectangular because they just need less space, because you can store them better in boxes or drawers or whatever. And round shapes, they're always losing some space through the obvious edges. And the second thing is I am just sorting them in the different categories. I have pens, I have pencils, I have here clips and Sharpies, and also I'm sorting through cards. And so put each different thing in categories, stickers, where then and while doing that, just first put them in the categories. Don't start sorting or dirt checking. We do that in the 3rd step, but just some things that you stumble upon which are obvious trash. You can sort them already out. All right, I think I sorted everything in the subcategories. And now is the next task, step number 3, the dirt checking. That means I now will go through every single subcategory, like here pens, and it also, in this case, it can make sense to also actually test the pens before you sort them out. So don't you keep your favorite optical pens, but in the end you know that they don't draw anymore. And if you got rid of every one which is not working anymore, you can toss them away, it's okay. Decide, okay, there are still 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 20 pens I have. Do I need 20 pens? No. So I'm gonna get rid of some and put them in a bag so I can donate them. A lot of people love accepting charity, especially stationaries, because they can give them to kids to draw, whatever. They're really useful things. You don't need to toss them away. And this is what I'm going to do with every of these categories. And also, while you're sorting through them, don't just go based on functionality and sort just out which doesn't work anymore. But for example, I have this category of text markers. I don't use text markers, ever. I used them in university. It's a long time ago that I studied to mark things in text. So there's no reason for me to keep them, especially because they take up a lot of space because they're big pens. So these are all going to go in my donate box. Another thing to think about is here, for example, these plastic covers. We found them already last week when we did papers. I have gazillion of plastic covers. So you can like sort some out because maybe you stumble upon some which are knitted or they don't look good anymore. You can throw them away. But also I have so many. And for me, it's okay to have some more because maybe there are some new categories opening up in my paper category where I'm going to store them in with. But never as many as they're probably going to be around 100 here. So maybe I keep 10 or 20 or whatever. And this is going to be fine. So I can hear already a lot of you saying, but what if I toss these plastic covers away and maybe in half a year I need 30, 40 of them. In that case, I would be mad because I have to pay for them again. I toss them away. And in that case, I just would like to ask you, in what kind of home do you want to live? Do you want to live in a home which is full of goods that you might need in the future, with this kind of fear of the future that you don't want to toss things away because there's a possible future use and you don't even know? Or do you want to live in a home where you actually live with the things, where you actually integrate the things that you have in your life, where you know what you have and not just declutter all the space with a possible future use? Because there can be a situation where in half a year or 2 years you need them. But also there can be the year where you don't ever need them in the next 50 to 100 years. And then you would have stored in this valuable space that you call your home a lot of stuff that never even is in your life. So think about what kind of home or what kind of environment you want to create for yourself. And also, that was a good ending, but I'm adding one more point is that think also about this in your future buying behavior. Just buy things that you actually need. Like don't go through a stationary goods store or whatever store and buy things, oh, I might need them soon. Because then you're just, again, starting to declutter your home. Just buy the things you need, because then you're actually creating sustainable behavior with not buying a lot of things that store and dust and maybe even break. I mean, some plastics don't even last that long. But this actually also makes you rethink your buying behavior, which is then the actual sustainable change. All right, I sorted through everything and I basically discarded things where I had way too many, which I didn't want to, things that were not working anymore, things where I realized I'm not using them. For example, also I had here a sticky notebook, which was still usable, but I hated it. It looks like from the 1980s, probably it is. And I have way more pretty blocks to write on, and I want to live in a life. Maybe you know this thought that you have some things that you would prefer to use, like these ones, but you still have so much other things that you still want to use before because you don't want to waste them. And this is an honorable thought, and you can do that. But I decided for myself that I want to use the things that I'm loving now. I don't want to wait for it. I want to be and arrive in the life already now that I'm dreaming of, where I'm using my favorite pens, not using the bad pens first. So at one point I come to the pens I actually want to use. And maybe that sounds ridiculous to you, I don't know, but this is just a thought that I also realized when I did the first time the Marie Kondo method in our home, that I'm getting rid of everything that I'm actually just waiting to get empty or waiting to get dirty so I can toss it away and move directly to the things that I want to use, because this kind of paper post-it blocks, they make me happy. I want to use them, make me happy just to scribble some notes on them or write pack lists or whatever. And I don't want to use this other one to first be empty before I start using them. So also, that's what I mean with the goal. Like, how do you envision using your stationaries? Do you imagine writing with your favorite pen on a beautiful block to write your notes? then don't wait for it. Discard, donate what you don't want to use, and use the things and draw everything from what you expect to be in the future into the now. Like, don't wait for it. So, and also there are some categories where I just want to keep all of them because I love every color and I want to have them in all colors. I also made another pile here with things that just belong in a different category that I sorted out, which was stored next to the stationaries, but it's actually a different category. And yeah, now I'm starting to think about how to sort things back in. And what comes in handy, as I said, like these small sturdy boxes, or something like there's actually something in there, like a stationary pen holder or whatever, which is really good to use for this kind of case, because you can store your pens and whatever in it. But also now where you sort everything back in, think about where are you going to use these things. I talk about in every video so far also in store things where it's functional. So don't store all stationary goods together. If you are in the kitchen and just want to write a quick note, but you have to run into your living room to get the pens, that's not functional. That's going to be really annoying for you. So what ends up happening is that you take out a pen, and in the end you put the pen somewhere in the drawer in the kitchen, next to the spoons, because you want to have a pen in the kitchen. So think directly about, for example, with all my pens here. So the things that I want to have at my desk, I'm going to store in this box here, and these are theirs. So also I take one of my favorite pens to sign important documents. I always need one marker, which I'm going to store there. And I also always have one glue stick. So all things that I'm going to need in my daily work, I'm going to store there. And all the other things. Now all the other pens that I'm having here to, when this one is empty, I'm going to store in here, so that when I need them, I can take them out and refill them. But I have these pens all easy accessible. That's important for storing things functional. When you're storing things, I told you that these kind of storage containers come in super handy. As you see from the top here, that all things are stored so I can see them from the top. So they are not stacked on each other. So I don't put the glue down here and then I put this thing on top. That would fit, right? But then I wouldn't be able to see the glue. I would forget it. And also it would be so difficult to put the glue back where it belongs, because I need to pick other things up, that it's going to be a mess soon. So to ensure that things are staying in the order and in the organization that you made, make sure that it's functional, easy accessible, so that you put everything stacked, not layered on top. So what other things come in handy while sorting things back in? I told you boxes, especially rectangular boxes, to store pens. I love storing pens also upright, because from the top you directly see what kind of color it is. Goes for different pens. In here, it's also an old storage unit that I repurpose now for the fourth time for different things. But here I have all the envelopes and cards and everything in there. So everything that goes for writing is in here. And what I did here is all the stamps that I found. They're flying on different areas here. I put them all in a paper bag here, because especially things that can get lost in these big boxes, makes sense to have them in an extra plastic foil or anything to cover them so they don't get lost in this big container. Oh, and also in here, I used this kind of, maybe this one's easier. This kind of plastic covers. I don't use them per se anymore, but I kept 2 of them, store other things in there, so they're all together, which are special paper that I need for my work, or here special organizers. I labeled them so I know what's in there. And so all these things can also be stacked next to each other in the box, so they don't fly around and I know what it is. And now, when I store everything back in the box now, I also, it's easier to go from big to small. So first start with the big items, to store them, and then end with the small ones, so you know how to best use the space. And also one more thing. With the way I reduced a lot, it doesn't look like it because these bags are not pretty full, but before I had 2 of them, which were filled with stationery goods, and I stacked them on top of each other. That was stupid. Why? Because what I just told you a couple of minutes ago is that when you stack things on top of each other, it's super unhandy because first of all, you forget what's in there. But also on the other hand, when we were using things from the lower rack and we're trying to put them back, I was from the beginning too lazy to lift this thing back up, put another thing down here, and then put it on top. So what did I end up doing? I opened this box, I pulled out of the shelf, just tossed it like somehow in there and said like, yeah, when I have time, I'm going to organize these blocks. This is not a good way of storing things. So now I reduce it in that way. They're just going to have 1 layer so that when we are going to pull it in now here, this way, we are gonna, you can directly see from top where everything is. Nothing has to be lifted up and everything can be put directly back in. So it's a way easier way of storing. All right, I sorted everything back in this box, which is for me stationery goods like paper, envelopes, sticky notes, pens, markers, and everything, and have now everything in a way better organized box than before. Way less stuff in there and especially better reachable. What is left here now is just all the empty boxes, which we can still use for later use in the Komono category. I have the pile for things which belong to other categories, like electronics or sentimentals. I have my trash bin and I have my donation box. And what is still here is all the crafts and goods. So for our artwork. And I don't know if you still remember this box. Obviously don't, but I remember this box. Because before there were clothes in here. But because we reduced our closet so much, this box was still empty. And now, before I had all our crafts and arts in this bag here, up on the top of our shelf, where we could actually never reach them. It was always a pain to get there. This box was not really a good place to store it. So I'm happy now to get rid of the bag and to store everything now in this like good sturdy box. And also this box goes below the bed. That means it's way easier reachable. And this is also what I mean with get everything out. And you don't have to have the end solution, how you store things in mind, because some things just are clear along the way. Like here now before and they were clothes, now they don't need anymore, but now these things can come in here. All right, we're off to the second subcategory, which is going to be electronic stuff. Everything that belongs to electronics, which we're getting out now, is electrical cords, chargers, phones, computers, electric dictionaries, electronic games, batteries, literally everything you can have in mind where power runs through. The only thing that I would keep out are things like kitchen machines or your electric toothbrush, which are more in the bathroom category. But literally everything else which has somehow electrical content, put them all together, and we are sorting through electronic stuff now. While pulling out your electronics, some things seem obvious to you. I mean, there are boxes which just scream electronics. Some items also scream very obvious to you because also your phone belongs to it, your laptop, the mouse you're using every day. So some items where you actually know, I'm not going to toss them because I love them, I use them every day. Still, I want you to get everything out. Out of that simple reason is because you once allow yourself, we say like, oh, I'm going to keep this cord in there because it's my computer charger and I'm not going to need it. The easier you trick yourself and also some other corners of the area of your houses where you actually think like, yeah, you know, all the cables under the table, I'm going to need them. And at one point you're getting lazy. We're actually getting lazy pulling things out. And that's what we're doing. We're getting everything out to actually reevaluate everything, because maybe also there's a better way of storing things. Also with stationaries, we found some new storage solutions which I didn't expect. So really take the time, take the effort, get everything out, even if it's annoying to unplug every cable. But maybe there's also just one way of easier storing them. It's going to be worth it. All right, everything's on the table. And again, the moment where I'm kind of shocked, actually, how much cables and electronics are in this household. Again, this is everything except, for example, our electric toothbrush and the charger for electric toothbrush, which are bathroom category or kitchen items. So everything's now here in a huge pile. And now we sort it again in the different subcategories, like all the cords together. And also there, be specific, you know, put all the cords together, which are USB-C to USB-C. On one pile, and then you put the cords together which are USB to however you call that. To kind of be really specific, we have a category headphones, we have a category plugs, I had another one here, over here, and we have a category another here, headphones, and the category, especially for my husband, hard drives, which we're all gonna put on one. And yeah, sort with that through the cables, try to declutter them all. And also, because I think I didn't mention it in the stationery category, either just sort through what belongs to you or sort it through with the person that belongs to other stuff. Because again, it's always a rule, just sort through what's yours. So also, as you have seen the time lapse maybe before, I asked Chris what are his pens, what he wants to keep. And the same here. This is mainly electronics, is more his category. So I don't have that much to sort. So I'm going to help him sort through his stuff because he needs to go through which cable we want to keep and what hard drive and so on. Okay, we kind of made some piles here. It doesn't look like it because cables are really hard to sort through or to keep organized. But we have the different piles of chargers, power banks, different kind of cables and hard drives. So now you know the next task is to go through what you want to keep or not. And again, the Spark Joy is difficult in all these categories. As a cable Spark Joy, yes, no. So also I would really go for functionality. Which cable don't work? Which cables do you like? Because sometimes cables are, let me give you this example here. We have here several of these cables for hard drives, and some are shorter, some are longer. These are all the same length. Oh, okay, this one is longer. So sometimes maybe you're annoyed that a cable is just too short because where you're plugging your hard drives and it's just more far away. So you prefer to keep a long one. Or in case of this ones, you prefer a short one because a long cable always just like winds up and takes up space, so you prefer a short one. Think about which one are you using most, and then also, do you need 4 of these cables? Is there ever any the case you need all 4 of these cables? And also, then maybe you think, okay, but what if one breaks? So I keep them. Same topic as with the papers and the plastic foils before. How often ever in your life did a cable break? So do you need 4 cables? Or is it enough to have maybe 1 spare cable and you can get rid of the other 2 cables? And also, if there is the case that in 2 years you need a new cable, maybe it's worth investing the money then than just being in an environment where you just save everything for future possible bad things could happen. So now that we sort through everything, we're going to go to step number 4, which is going to be the sorting things back in. Especially with this electronic stuff, no one needs electronics stored in one basket in a corner somewhere. Where electronics make sense, where they're going to use, because electronics don't have a one-on-one aesthetically purpose, but they have a functional purpose. Every electronic is there for something. That's why we have them, that's why we use them. We don't have electronics just for fun. So here, these are remote adapters. So I'm gonna plug them in plugins where we actually need the remote, like for lights or for some things which are hard to reach, like radios on top of shelves or whatever. Power banks. We are using power banks when we travel. So it absolutely makes sense to put them in our travel box. The one box we're opening when we're about to go on a road trip or on a weekend getaway or whatever, so that we are then also stumble over the power banks and don't forget them the next time when we're on the road and think like, shoot, we should have packed a power bank. The same goes with the travel adapters for different countries. And we put them in the travel box. So when we are traveling, we open the box, go through everything that we see there. I was like, yeah, it would be smart to pack a travel adapter. No need to buy a new one at every airport. These are things that I need for my work. So like an extra camera for my laptop or an adapter to put my phone on to hold. So I'm gonna store these things together on one place where I just, when I'm starting to do a video or a reel or something, just pull out one drawer and have my things there. Yeah, so that's kind of how things you have to have in mind. These USB sticks here also do make sense close to where you work. Cables do make sense where also you're going to charge your phone. So this is what we're going to do now and start everything back in. So here were all the electronics in safe before. I just cleaned it. And also we have a second one of these. There were some towels and picnic stuff in before. I didn't sort it through the category, but I have a feeling we're going to need 2 of these to store for our new storing system of electronics. So I cleared out the towels and the picnic stuff, and I'm going to sort through them later. But I already have a feeling I'm going to want to store it this way, so that's why I dumped them out. So we have a new way of storing all the things together, which belong together. So when you store cable, also make sure that you just not somehow like toss them in a drawer somewhere. Try to roll them nicely, and then you can, for example, just fixate them with a rubber band or a cable binder or whatever, so that you just stay this way, and then you can store them in here or anywhere so that just they don't roll up and they don't tangle. Another way of storing cables is, actually my husband got this thing all on his own. I was so proud. Where kind of a bag, it's a cable organizer bag, and where you just can put all the cables in this different kind of pockets here, so they all stay safe and organized in there. You can also organize them by category. So here's all this cables with USB or with the USB-C. And here comes a cable which is iPhone to USB. So here are then, now the category are if we ever travel in a car which has still a USB connection. And so you can sort all the different cables in here, always have them handy and also have them stored away. We have now everything almost stored back in. We have our cable collection, this cable thing here. We have the hard drives and batteries and other electronic cords, which we're going to put under the couch. The hard drives are more in the back because we don't need them that often. Batteries and cables, which have to be easy accessible. We can just pull from the couch and easy use them. And also here I separated them in kind of more Chris box and my box with stuff that I need. And now I'm going to show you something that I recently saw somewhere and want to apply too. So with chargers that you're going to need daily, like I have mine already down here, like your phone charger and your laptop charger, I want to have them next to my workplace, but also somewhere where I can always easily access them. So you just need clips, like single paper clips, and like this 2 sticky as like power stripes. And I'm gonna cut them in 2 because it's a bit too big. And then you can apply one side on this paper clip here, like this. And the other side you rip off, and you're gonna apply them on your work desk, or in this case, it's gonna be here on the side. So it's gonna stick from both sides. And what you can easily do is you open this, and then, oops, it can hold your cable. We did this now once on my phone charger. And I'm gonna do this now a second time. And so always when I need them, I can just pull them out of here. And if I don't need them anymore, I can put them back and they don't disturb anyone. And also especially because it's our working and dining table, it's a super smart solution. And the rest of the cable is gonna end up under the table in here. So you actually are not gonna see it. So we found a smart solution for cables that we daily use. Some other things I plugged in at places where I actually use them. So I have a diffuser, which I plugged in our bedroom where I can easily access them and use them. And all the other things that are not really have a direct function, I put here in our 2 electronic boxes, here under the couch. And these 2 boxes, where here Chris has all his hard drives and the batteries and the chargers. Hard drives that we don't use that often are in the back, so they're harder to access. Things that are easy can like pull in and out, like batteries, are in the front. And here also is more my box with my camera and clothes razor and massage gun and everything that we're using. So these things are easily stored under the couch, are not in the way and still easy accessible. And yeah, that was the second subcategory. So today we did stationaries and we did electronic cards. I think that's enough for one day and one session and one video. And the next week we're going to continue with Komono, with the other categories. We still have to face all the bathroom items, the kitchen items, but also more miscellaneous stuff like hobby items, religious items, and things like candles and all of this stuff. So stay with me for the next video because we are staying with Komono for a couple of weeks now. It just takes time. But yeah, I hope you liked this video. You found some helpful tips with it. And if you have any questions or any comments, I'm always happy to read them. And I wish you good luck in tackling your Komono category and happy organizing.